Hello, I am Verendipitous, and welcome to episode 3 of Legend Lore Chats, where we will be talking about Orion. Orion was released on April 30th, 2014, just like Bodvar and Cassidy, and this video being released on April 30th, 2024, which means today is Orion's 10th birthday. Happy 10th anniversary of your release, Orion, the most enigmatic and mysterious cool guy in all of Brawlhalla. So, as usual, we will go straight into the lore here, going into Meet the Legends, and going to, let's see, Orion, there he is. Excellent. Alright. The Mysterious Stranger. Sir Roland swears Orion is the gold knight he never slew. Bodvar insists he is Thor in disguise. Nash believes he is a magic rock monster. Lucian is moved to incoherent rage at the sight of him. I don't care who he is, I just want to take him apart and see how he works. Scarlet. Here I am called Orion. Orion. As the story goes, watching from the doors of Valhalla, Bodvar and Cassidy and the other legends saw a blazing trail of smoke cut across the Asgardian sky. Behind the fiery comet, a Valkyrie raced in pursuit, as though trying to stop the fireball as it plunged into the fields of Folkvanger in a gout of dirt and flame. The legend then watched as Valkyries and emissaries of Odin gathered around the smoking crater. Weeks later, the sons of Ivaldi, the same dwarven smiths who had forged Odin's spear, quietly appeared in Asgard. They bore a suit of dazzling golden armor and presented it to the gods themselves. Soon after, the mighty Orion joined the feast halls of Valhalla. Tentative and aloof at first, Orion soon warmed to the great hall and is now among its greatest warriors and most popular champions. Orion does not speak of his past, and other legends can only speculate. But Valkyries stop by his chambers to ask if he wants to, hang out or whatever, no big deal. He is the only hero seen to leave Asgard from time to time. So yeah, I've got a lot to say about this guy, even though he is very much a mystery. As always, we'll go into ranked and play some Orion. We'll start with the default skin here. I've got lots of cool skins for Orion, but we'll start with the default here while I talk about the various connections that Orion has. So most of Orion's connection with other legends is mentioned in his lore. Bodvar and Cassidy and other legends saw him, arrive in a comet, essentially. The sons of Ivaldi, one of them is Olgrim, and so Olgrim was one of the sons of Ivaldi who helped create Orion's armor, golden armor. And also, Olgrim keeps a close eye on Orion, either through pride in his work on that armor, or maybe he's worried that the armor will crack or fall off or something like that. No one knows. And then also, Bryn and Val make fun of Orion for his mysterious cool guy act, because apparently lots of other Valkyries think he's rather attractive or something, but Bryn doesn't, and Val and Bryn are besties. They watch kung fu movies together. So anyway, also speaking of Tezca, Orion actually has a connection with Tezca. Funny enough, so Tezca's real name is Oscar Huerta, and apparently Tezca and Orion challenged each. I don't know who challenged who. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Tezca and Orion were going to have a face-off, and as in whoever loses has to take their mask off. And Odin put a stop to that really quick. He's like, no, don't do that, please. I'm guessing it's more so because he didn't want Orion's identity to be revealed, less than Tezca's identity to be revealed, because I think Tezca's less of a mystery than Orion. But anyway, face off, mask off, whatever, mask off, face off, whatever, all that. That's anyway, kind of funny. Also, Orion is one of the few legends deemed worthy of direct address by Lord Vrax, so there's that as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, one of the craziest connections is in Mirage's lore. There's this really weird quote. It's actually inspired by a quote from the classic movie Casablanca. I only mention that just because if it sounds familiar, that's why. I don't think it's supposed to actually be from Casablanca, but in the movie, someone says of all the diners in all the world, she had to walk into this one or whatever. And so, but anyway, that's how the devs were inspired. The quote in Mirage's lore is when she was talking to Orion, and she said, "Of all the afterlives, you had to walk into this one. What are they calling you now? What do you call yourself these days?" And then in Orion's lore, we see that he says, "Here I am called Orion." So somehow, for some reason, Mirage knows Orion from somewhere. No explanation, refuses to elaborate. We have no idea. It's hilarious to me. Sure, frustrating, but it's more hilarious than anything. Well, let's be real. Nyx considers Orion a metaphysical rule breaker or a cosmological cold case or a rogue soul or something like that. And Nyx and Artemis share a common frustration with Orion. And of course, as you probably know, Artemis is basically the rival to Orion. It might be more of a one-sided rivalry, or maybe it's both-sided, I don't know. But Artemis wants to destroy Orion. That can be elaborated on further when we finally get to the Legend lore chat for Artemis. But essentially, Artemis considers Orion to be an infection in the universe, basically. Because Artemis is the universe's immune response, is how her lore talks about it. And so, yeah, it's but Artemis wonders if Asgard might be too infected to save as Orion gets more fame or something like that. So who knows what that even means? There's just Also, Orion's the only legend seen leaving Asgard from time to time. Now, obviously, that is an example of early written lore. There are probably other legends that could have been that leave Valhalla from time to time. Azoth is a good example where he's summoned by his cultists from time to time. I think I think you can still say that Orion is the only one seen leaving Asgard from time to time, whereas Azoth just kind of disappears or something. I don't know. Who knows? So that's one way to look at it without breaking continuity or whatever. I said I had lots to say about it. Those were all the connections that I can think of anyway. I'll have to take a moment in a little bit after this match, which I'm probably going to lose. Maybe, I don't know. Oh gosh. Oh no, wait. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay. Any connections I'm missing? I think that's it. Oh yeah, one thing that might be a bit weird. Bodvar thought Orion was Thor in disguise. Sir Roland thought that thinks Orion is the Gold Knight he never slew. Nash thinks Orion is a magic rock monster. Lucian is moved to incoherent rage at the sight of Orion. For a while, I was a bit confused by that. Why would Lucian be upset at Orion? And I think it's because Orion's armor is gold. Because Lucian loves to be rich, basically. I think it's really just as simple as that. Orion is literally covered in gold, and Lucian is probably upset about that because, that could have been me. I could have that gold. Why don't I have gold armor or whatever? I don't know. Let's see. We'll do Orion Prime from Battle Pass 5. This is really cool. This is maybe Orion from a different dimension or lifetime or things like that. So who is Orion? Oh my goodness. So I have a decent amount to say regarding various theories, okay? I'll start with the discussions that I had with a couple of Brawlhalla devs back in BCX 2022, the Brawlhalla Championship Expo in 2022. That was the first Brawlhalla LAN event that I went to in person, and at the time they had some panels, and one of the panels was focused on lore, and so I was able to sort of lead a discussion and ask questions with two devs. One of them was an artist, someone on the art team named Rachel, who's also in the lore team in Blue Mammoth Games, and the other one was Matt Woomer, who's the executive director or producer of Brawlhalla. He's the big main boss of the Brawlhalla devs, they talked about how the lore is developed, and Matt Woomer is the one who he's the main editor. The whole lore team writes a bunch of drafts for the lore of every single legend, but Matt unless something has changed, Matt Wimmer is the one who edits it into its final version, essentially, who edits all of those drafts into the final version, and that he started like the Brawlhalla lore started with him, and now there's a whole team of lore people at Blue Mammoth Games who help out with creating that, which is awesome. I love it, and I could go on and on about like what that process entails, but that would be a whole other video. The point is, in that discussion, some people who follow my Twitter from like 2022 and whatever, the past couple of years, might remember that I was very excited about the fact that I actually, I didn't, this is something I didn't really expect would happen, but I was kind of like, what if, if the Brawlhalla YouTube channel reaches 1 million subscribers, will you do an Orion face reveal? And I guess I was kind of putting Matt Wimmer on the spot there, but he was like, you know what, we'll do it. And everyone's like, yeah, we'll do it. If the Brawlhalla YouTube channel, if the official Brawlhalla YouTube channel reaches 1 million subscribers, we'll do an Orion face reveal. And I challenged them to do that because like back in like 2019, back when like there was kind of this internet meme or challenge to try to back when like PewDiePie reached 10 million YouTube subscribers, and other people were like doing challenges to like, if we can like tie PewDiePie or reach 10 million subscribers, we'll do something. And Orion's face reveal was that back in 2019. Nothing came of it. So I made that challenge again in 2022. And so I tried campaigning for a little bit to try to encourage more people to subscribe to the Brawlhalla YouTube channel to make it happen. But I mean, yeah, it never really happened. Like there's the amount of, I couldn't really the YouTube channel still needed hundreds of thousands of subscribers to get to the 1 million mark. It was like at like 600,000 or 700,000 or whatever, and I did some math and whatever, and I didn't know how I could possibly like help make that happen. So, and also like I got the sense that the Brawlhalla devs are kind of like, I don't know why Matt Wimmer agreed to that, and so I'm just like, so I told Defensive, the community manager, I was like, hey, look, I'm happy to just drop it. Like if it's like it's not really something that's happening, if you like, I only want I only want an Orion face reveal if you guys actually have a plan for it, because I know that Orion being a mystery, that's kind of like part of his thing. Like every legend has a thing. Bodvar is a Viking, Cassidy is a cowgirl, Lord Vrax is an alien. Orion is a mystery. Like mystery is like a significant part of his identity, right? And so, and maybe a face reveal would mess that up. I don't know. Or maybe a face reveal would bring more questions than answers. I don't know. But essentially, I've dropped the issue because I don't mind either way. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not expecting it. I will say, though, that back in 2019, this was way before Defensive was community manager. He was like just a very active Brawlhalla YouTuber at the time. He made there are two lore theories about who Orion is that are my absolute favorite. My absolute favorite one is Defensive's theory back in 2019. If you just type "who is Orion Defensive," like defensive name DIFFE, and like defensive, but it's DIFF instead of DEN, whatever. Anyway, who is Orion Brawlhalla? You'll probably find it. Video by Defensive. The long and short of the theory is that Orion, he kind of looks like a Valkyrie. And it's obvious that Orion uses male pronouns, like he's referred to as a he in the lore, right? So the theory is that Orion is, and actually also Orion, Orion's like sort of like beta name or code name or whatever is Valkyrie. Like he is actually designed to look like a Valkyrie, like, and he is considered Asgardian as well. So the theory is that Orion is a harbinger Orion, that Orion is a harbinger of things to come. Defensive theorized that Orion is basically a male Valkyrie from a parallel dimension, and that Armageddon and that Ragnarok or something else bad happened to Orion's dimension, and somehow Orion survived and made it to this dimension, this main dimension that we're in for Brawlhalla, and is here to basically try to warn everybody about what's to come. And so what does that have to do with Artemis? Well, if you think about how the immune system works in your body, white blood cells attack foreign things. They attack things from outside. They attack things from outside the body that could cause harm to the body. Foreign matter. That's why organ transplants can be dangerous, because the body can potentially reject the organ transplant. That's kind of part of the immune system, right? And that's also how the human body deals with harmful bacteria and viruses and things like that, right? So if Artemis is the universe's immune response, then it would make sense for Orion to basically be considered by the universe a foreign body, something that does not belong to this dimension, but belongs in a parallel universe, a parallel dimension, right? So it's a fantastic theory. It's probably the most elegant theory out there that really explains the main questions behind Orion. It doesn't explain why Mirage knows Orion from somewhere else or anything, or whatever. And I will also say that the idea of parallel dimensions is further supported by Battle Pass Season 8, the Terminus Battle Pass, because I can talk about this more when we talk about Petra and Red Raptor and Loki. But essentially, Terminus is this place that is its own pocket dimension, separate from every other. It is the only place in the multiverse to get the Darkheart crystals, essentially this dangerous material. And in Battle Pass Season 8, if you look at the archived website, and if you keep scrolling all the way down, you'll see a propaganda message by Loki in which he talks about trying to go against fate and trying to go against Ragnarok, if not in this timeline, then in the next timeline, and the next. Basically, this idea that he's pulling people and things to and from other dimensions through Terminus. And so the idea of alternative dimensions is a thing in Brawlhalla lore. It's just not certain where Orion might come from in this. And Orion is in Battle Pass Season 8, by the way. Just kind of as just something else, just kind of there, got pulled into Terminus at some point. So that is my favorite. That is my favorite theory about Orion. It's still the one theory I've come across that seems to hold up well, the best to the Brawlhalla lore as we know it. The other Orion theory, the other Who is Orion theory it's actually a video that I made in mid to late 2023. The reason, and it's not really, it's kind of been debunked, because so basically, all this stuff about Terminus with Battle Pass Season 8 and everything, it got me and other lore nerds thinking, what if Orion is Loki, but Loki has been so corrupted by Darkheart that he needs this suit of armor to contain it and everything. And maybe that's why Odin and Olgrim and maybe that's why they don't want Orion to be unmasked, because he's actually Loki. And maybe they're either ashamed or they don't want to they don't want Loki to be revealed. Or maybe it's dangerous for Loki, kind of like the Darth Vader situation where without the suit, Loki would be in danger because maybe they want to keep the Darkheart infection contained in the suit with Loki or something like that. Who knows? That was the gist of the theory. I had a lot going on with that theory, but that theory was pretty quickly debunked because very soon after I made that video, and soon after the Battle Pass Season 8 Terminus season ended, we got Loki. as a new legend in the game. So I was very excited. I mean, slightly disappointed, but also more excited than anything else about the fact that we got Loki in the game. But so I invested a lot into that theory, but I no longer believe that theory anymore for obvious reasons. Because Loki, just like how Bodvar thought that Orion was Thor. Well, now we know he's not because Thor is a different character. Now we know Orion is not Loki because Loki is a different character. Orion is still his own thing. He is still a mystery, and if he stays that way, that's totally fine. So yeah, I think that is most of what I wanted to talk about with Loki. Oh, nice. Nick's and Armageddon colors. That's cool. I wanted to at least show off the here's Metadev Orion, by the way. I wanted to at least show off the this is the Orion skin from Battle Pass Season 8, the Terminus. Like, really cool. I love it. Really cool concept. But yeah, maybe this is like how Orion was when he was in Terminus, then he changed afterwards. Who knows? Who the heck knows? It's Orion. He's a mystery. He's meant to be a mystery. But that's what I've got to say about him. Oh, I'll also say that I keep remembering things. I will also say that like, for some reason, like, I feel like I'm going crazy here, but for some reason, the word enigma is like Orion is connected to the word enigma in my mind, because I think for like in the first few years of me being a content creator in Brawlhalla, in the Brawlhalla community, I thought that instead of the stranger, because you know how each legend has like a subtitle or whatever, Orion is called the mysterious stranger. I thought for a long time that Orion was called the enigma or something like that, and I don't know if something has changed or if I'm just going crazy, but the word enigma doesn't appear in his lore anywhere. So I don't know if I'm just going crazy or not, but I don't know where the word enigma comes from. I haven't been able to figure that out. But I will say that Artemis is called the answer. So, you know, if Orion is the question, Artemis is the answer. Also the fact that like Orion and Artemis are names from Greek mythology. There is definitely a lot of like, there are different versions of like that Orion, like in Greek mythology, Orion and Artemis do definitely have a history, depending on if, you know, there are different versions. They might have been friends, they could have been lovers, they could have been enemies, whatever, things like that. Clearly Brawlhalla is leaning into the idea that Orion and Artemis were like kind of like enemies in Greek mythology. I don't think Orion is the actual Orion from Greek mythology. There's nothing to really suggest that, although there's nothing not to suggest that. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I believe that is what I've got to say about Orion. Defensive's theory that Orion is a male Valkyrie from a parallel dimension, and where Ragnarok happened in his dimension, he's trying to warn. He's escaped here to try to warn or prepare people for Ragnarok in this dimension. That's my favorite theory. That's my headcanon. That's the one I'm going with, until proven otherwise, essentially. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.